Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Kingdoms podcast. And of course, today I've got with me the one, the only Shameless Don Shainis. How
What's
are
up,
you,
man?
Don?
How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's what? Thursday? Yeah, we're Thursday at noon in Massachusetts, so I'm doing pretty good. It's a little cold outside, but we're good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm in the old England. You are New England.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whoa, it's pretty cold here in old England. But what's the weather like over there?
I went outside today and it's pretty dang cold. It's probably like 50 degrees outside. I don't know what that translates to Celsius, but it's about 50 degrees.
Exactly what I was thinking because you guys use a Fahrenheit, right? And we use a Celsius. Here in London, England, it's 10 degrees. It's 10 degrees here. It's not so cold right now, but yesterday it was like 5 degrees. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
it's
that's
getting really
cold.
cold.
That's
It's
cold.
it's getting quite cold. And of course, in England, a cup of tea never hurts anyone. So they say a cup of tea solves all problems. And of course,
Well,
that's why you see I've got my a beanie, and of course, I've got some warm clothing.
Well, I'm in
You've
my
got your
parents'
coffee.
basement. It's pretty warm, so I got my coffee right here. So you guys drink your tea. I got my coffee.
Oh, interesting. Tea or coffee? Tea here, coffee there.
Coffee
It's
all
all
day.
balanced.
Yes,
It's all
sir.
balanced.
Yes, sir.
Whoa, it's really nice having you. Your name sparks a lot of interest and, would I say, a bit of controversy. Who on earth bears the name Shameless? Like, how did
I think
that
it's
name
just
come
me,
about?
man. I think it's just me. I don't think anyone's trying to rival my nickname. I love it. It's definitely very fitting. If you catch me in my personal life, it is very fitting, especially when I
Well,
was younger.
I come from Nigeria, right,
Yeah.
originally. So there's something my friends used to say in Nigeria, and I think it's quite a popular thing in Nigeria. They say you cannot shame the shameless.
No, 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 no. You
You
can't.
cannot shame the shameless. The shameless is shameless already. So what shame do you want to bring to the shameless? Wow,
Yeah.
interesting, interesting. We're going to know much more about you as the pod progresses. But then, can you tell us about your journey into MMA and what led you into the UFC?
Yeah. So let's see. Kind of. I was kind of an athlete in high school and I really dove into, football. That was like my first true love. And it's not your football, it's my football. You guys have soccer, footy, whatever you
It's
guys
not
want to call
soccer.
it.
You
No.
you have to call it
Yeah,
American football. American football is different from the real football. We play
yeah,
the
of
real
course.
football here in England. You guys play American football.
Yeah. So my first true love was American football. And I started playing it
Nice.
right before high school started. And at the time it was always like get bigger, get stronger, get faster. And when I was in ninth grade, I had a science teacher. I actually saw him yesterday. He's an awesome dude, and he wanted me to go out for the wrestling team. And I was like, "Nah, I'm not wearing those singlets. I'm not doing that." One day in his class, I was letting some girl play Snake on my phone, and the teacher took my phone away from her, and I'm like, "Hey, man, give it back. I wasn't even on my phone, because at the time it's not like today where you get kids actively on their phone using the internet, all this. Back when I was in high school, we weren't allowed to use our phones, that was for emergencies only. So he took my phone away. He's like, look, protocol is you can either grab this in the principal's office or you could pick it up at wrestling practice. And I'm like, all right. So after school, I go to him and I go, look, let me call my mom, tell her I'm not coming home. I'm going to wrestling practice. So I call up my mom. I tell her that I'm gonna go to wrestling practice. She's like, all right. And go to find out it wasn't wrestling practice that day. They had a wrestling meet. So my first day ever at wrestling practice, I had to wrestle in a meet and I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up losing, but I ended up getting what they call over here is OW. So outstanding wrestler. So I got OW for just like trying wicked hard. And and that's kind of where I fell in love with the sport of wrestling. And for me, it was always like I was going to wrestle to be a better football player. But being a football player, you want to get bigger, faster, stronger, right? And I wasn't getting any taller, which didn't help my cause. So I would like try and get up to 200 pounds to play football, and then I go down to 170 to wrestle. Like as I got older, so it was like my sophomore, junior, senior year. I'm ballooning up, and then I'm losing 30 pounds, and I'm ballooning up again, then losing 30 pounds, and then when I went to college, after I graduated, I had to make the decision like whether I wanted to play football or wrestle, and I ended up playing football, but I didn't love it like I used to, And then at that time, the UFC started getting popular and big and whatnot, and I was just kind of like partying, bullshitting, like really going to school to bullshit and socialize, not to actually take classes or care. So it got to a point where I took an MMA fight, and I took an MMA fight, training at this gym, and I won. I fought like a 28-year-old Marine at 19, and my parents didn't like that, and they kicked me out of the house. And then they're like, "Hey, look, we're gonna pay for your college. Just don't fight while we're paying for school." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." So I didn't fight for like a year and a half, and then like I kind of thought I was slick, and took another fight, and they didn't like that again. So they're like, "Look, cut the fucking shit. Like, we're helping you here. Don't be a dick." And I was like, "All right, all right, all right." So then I decided that one night I was partying way too hard, and I decided I wanted to be a professional athlete, and I dropped out of college. I quit my job. I dumped my girlfriend. I moved home with my parents, and I was just like, "This is what I'm doing. You could either get on board. You don't have to like it, but you guys could either get on board, but this is what I'm going to do for my career, and you could be a part of my life or not." And they chose to accept it, even though they still don't like it. They chose to accept it, and they've been so fucking supportive since then. And I had a great amateur career. I was an amateur champion. I went on to the pro ranks, and I've done some crazy things. I've had some crazy injuries, and the biggest takeaway that I've been able to have is just not quit. Right? Like I've seen so many people more talented than me, better than me, more skilled, just quit or fade out. And it's like I was just stubborn and wouldn't quit till I got into the UFC. Now I'm being just as stubborn to get back into the UFC.
Wow, interesting. Don't quit. Quitters don't win. Winners don't quit. You proudly describe yourself as a college dropout. It's even on your Instagram
Yeah,
profile. Like, and of course, you describe yourself as a entrepreneur.
yeah.
So, what was the turning point, that led you to choose this path for yourself and these labels that you have given yourself?
Well, at the time, right? Like I kind of pride myself in dropping out of college and being not. Look, nothing. I don't care who you are. There's no such thing as a self-made man, right? Like
Mm,
you can do good for yourself. That's great, but you got to take those hand ups and build yourself, right? But like that doesn't mean you didn't get help getting there, right? And college wasn't helping me. It was making me depressed, and I was drinking too much and doing too many drugs, and I needed to stop, and I was depressed. So college was kind of like the worst thing for me. It was a great experience, but like it wasn't my thing. I was going to class, and like I was listening to these teachers, and I didn't care, and like my effort wasn't there, and I just wasn't motivated. I wanted to do something else. And
mm,
so I kind of pride myself in like figuring it out, because before COVID, what I would do is I'd train all day, bartend at night, and then like as I'm training and bartending, I'm selling tickets to my fight. I'm making merchandise. I'm selling advertising space on my merchandise. I'm building an audience, a fan base, a portfolio, and like using the statistics of how many people bought tickets to my fight to to estimate how many shirts I need to buy and what people are going to be
mm.
wearing. And so I kind of like became my own business, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow,
Hence the
interesting.
entrepreneur.
Wow, I see. Entrepreneurship. So, what has been your biggest lesson or takeaways from, your time as a UFC fighter?
Are you talking about in the UFC
Mm.
or out of the
In the
UFC?
UFC, and, that still lives with you now.
Oh,
And of course, we know that you are still on your pathway back into the UFC, but
mhm.
like you did have a short stint with the UFC. So what were the lessons you learned during
I
that time?
learned that like things don't matter as much as you think they do, right?
Mm,
And what I mean like this, right? Like you get so worked up in your mind about like this fight or this result or this, right? And like that's all you think about, you obsess about it, and especially when you're in a sport like this where in your mind you're only as good as your last fight. And even so, like you're not as good as your best win and you're not as bad as your worst loss either. So like you got to remember too, like the general public has no idea what you're doing. It's like you could go out and compete in the biggest stage for a world title and you could still go to the grocery store and people don't care or don't know or have no idea, and you know things aren't as big as you make them and things aren't as small as you do them. Now that being said, it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. So you just make sure when you do things you do them right.
mm. That's actually very true. You're never as good as people say you are. You're never as bad as people say you are. Things are never, as big or as small as, they're painted to be. And it's essential for people to really realize that. And of course, you have your own labels, your own brand, right?
Hmm.
You have the Shameless Nation
Yeah, yeah,
and
man.
your
I'm very
business
fortunate to have
ventures, right?
the fan base I do.
So tell us about of Shameless Nation. What's the mission and what inspired you to create the Shameless Nation?
Well, what's shameless mean,
Mm-mm.
right? Like, what does that mean? What's your interpretation of just the word shameless?
So for me, when I say based off where I come from, we like to say you cannot shame the shameless. So a shameless person would be somebody who does not care about what people says about them or what people think about them. They just do their thing, right? So they're not ashamed essentially, right? So they don't care about people's opinions, right? They don't
Hmm.
care about public opinion. They just want to be their own person, right? That's essentially what a shameless would be to me.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Essentially, what you said is people don't care, right? And what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to change the definition of the word, but I'm trying to rebrand the word, right? I care
Mm,
so fucking much about what I'm doing and my love for what I'm doing that I want to inspire people. So ironically, like I'm taking something that people don't care about and I'm getting an emotional reaction out of them, and I'm getting them just excited about what I'm doing because the whole reason I have this fan base and the Shameless Nation and so many loved ones going to my fight, right? And so many friends, so many people I know. It's crazy, but it's like I'm getting an emotional reaction out of them. That means I care so much. And my ultimate goal is to inspire people, right? If I'm doing what I'm doing, that's great. But if I'm not pulling some people up along the way, like I'm not doing anything, I have this 10-finger rule, right? And and this is what it is. I can only give time and energy to people that'll go like this for me. Give me 10 fingers up, right? Now, it's my job to get up and over that wall. Like I got to be able to still pull myself up. I might need a little boost,
uh,
right? But
the push,
as what's up?
the push.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I might need like a little push to get up or grab the wall. But like once I get up there, everyone's still down here. It's my job to pull people up, right? But you also have to be careful of who you pull up with you because the person
Mm,
drowning always takes one with them.
mm,
That's why
yeah.
there's two lifeguards at the beach.
Whoa, that's actually very true. And of course, it reminds me of something my father used to tell us when we were younger. He used to say, "You cannot empower people except you empower yourself." And of
But
course,
that
it stuck
energy
with
is
me.
contagious.
Yeah,
Energy is contagious, man.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. You have to empower yourself to empower people.
Now, that being said, it's like I don't have to convince you of anything. I just need to convince
Mm,
me, right? Perfect
hmm.
example Leon Edwards. No one thought he was going to be Camaro. He didn't even think he was going to be Camaro.
Nobody.
Shit. Head kick. Boom. He beat Camaro.
Headshot
Back.
dead.
Yeah. Well, fast forward.
Anyways, John Anik, in the
Yeah.
commentary booth, did believe in him. DC and Joe Rogan were writing his obituary, and where they said he might have just resigned to a moral victory, right? And then John Anik was like, "But that is not the cloth from which he is cut." And immediately the headshot came, and whoa, there's no better timing of a commentary ever in UFC history than what happened.
Well, look at that as an example, right? No one believed that he was going to win. No one.
Nobody, I counted him out.
Look at this fight with John Jones and Stipe. Who really thinks Stipe is going to win? That fight
Okay,
hasn't happened yet.
Only Stipe, his wife, and I think his family.
Maybe not even his wife. Maybe not even his wife.
Whoa! No way.
Maybe not even Stipe. So hear me out. But Stipe doesn't need to convince anybody. He still might go out there and win. And John Jones is the greatest ever.
But do you think Stipe would win?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is he doesn't need to convince me. He needs to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And there's something to be taken away for someone that'll go out there on the spot, raw, off the cut, and fucking do it. For people doing it, there's something that goes untold about them. Because there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to convince anyone of anything. You just need to believe yourself. If Stipe believes he could absolutely win. But you also got John Jones, who's never lost and believes he's going to win, and the rest of the world thinks he's going to win. Look at O'Malley versus Merab.
Yeah.
Merab was so determined to win. I trained with Merab.
But bro, I put my money on Merab actually. So I was one of those people who believed that Merab was going to win, and I won money on Merab. I was happy Merab won.
Yeah, I was fucking ecstatic he won. I trained with the guy. But you got all the casuals thinking O'Malley's this, O'Malley's that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem with the sport is you have so many casuals that watch the UFC and like believe, the hype and all this stuff. And Merab didn't have to convince you. You bet on him, but he didn't have to convince you. He went out there and did his fucking thing.
I did see how determined he was, and styles make fights. I was able to analyze that his style is a nightmare for O'Malley's style. Come on, wrestler, grappler versus striker, and Merab is elite level at what he does. He will suffocate you. He will mount pressure on you. So I was wondering why the casuals. Anyways, that is why they're called the casuals. They don't know the technicality of the sport, right?
They don't know, but they see the highlights and the knockout and the Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and the casuals are always driving a crazy narrative, and it's crazy.
Yeah, but the casuals pay the bills.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
It's crazy to me. You get all these casuals going up to the UFC left and right, and you got local shows that the casuals don't go to.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you think they
That's
get
actually
these
very
guys for
true.
the UFC?
Yes, that's actually very true. It's crazy how, because you see certain people with certain highlights and you feel like, oh, these guys are untouchable. But come on, there are killers in the sport. And of course, you need to analyze the styles, right? And that is why they say styles make fights. For
Of
me,
course.
the top three disciplines, right, in order to be a well-rounded fighter in MMA are wrestling, your striking, and your jiu-jitsu, right? For striking, I would say Muay Thai, kickboxing, right? But for you, what would you say are your top three disciplines to be a well-rounded fighter in the sport of MMA?
So obviously you need to have some bit of everything, right? But
Mm-hmm.
let's just remove like skill set and craft. It's mindset, will, and fight IQ.
Mm. Fight IQ is very, very important.
I've lost a fight over fight IQ. It was don't even get me started. Like
Because fight IQ helps you to adapt in the cage.
well, yeah, it's common sense, It's like
But common sense is not common. It's not as common as we think it is,
all right, let me
especially
ask
when
you
you're
this,
under
right?
pressure.
Let me ask you this. How many times do you see someone close their guard in the UFC? How many times do you see someone finish a submission off their back? Very rarely. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's not very
Yeah.
common. But you see the likes of Charles Oliveira using it, and people are even scared, to be in the guard.
Charles Oliveira is an exception. He does finish stuff off his back, but it's like the amount of finishes you see off your back, slim, very slim. We're talking a percentage, not 10%, less than that, right? So how many guys do you see close their guard? Okay, way more than 10%. You get a lot of guys that like
Hmm.
get taken down and close their guard to stop damage. Guess what? Now you're holding someone on top of you. That is bad fight IQ. If you're in a fight, newsflash, don't close your guard because you're losing on bottom. Get the hell up. Because
But
chances
it,
are
it,
you're
it
not going to finish
depends.
that. It
It
depends.
depends on who is on top of you. It depends on who is on top of you and the pressure, the mountain, Basically, it's more like damage control. You're closing the guard in order to limit the ground and pound that you are going to be absorbing.
Yeah, of course. But guess what? You're losing. Because if you spend 3 rounds on bottom and you don't get the sub, you lost. It don't matter if the guy just laid on you. You just lost. And you just held someone on top of you for 15 minutes.
But also damage does count. Some people are
Damage does
good
count.
with elbows, in the clinch from the bottom, and probably some
With the
strikes
exception of
from the bottom.
with the
Kevin
exception
Holland, for
of Kevin
example.
Holland knocking out Jacare, right? With that
you,
exception,
you knew I was going to.
yeah, I knew exactly where you're going because that's the one example I could think about. How many
You
people
knew
you
I
seen
was
get
going
knocked out from
to.
bottom?
Knockouts from bottom. That's that.
Yeah,
I can only think
yeah,
of Kevin Holland right now.
yeah. One example. How many fights have the UFC had? Thousands, thousands. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I do
that's
get
fight
what
IQ.
you. Speaking of Charles Oliveira, right? Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Who do you see winning that fight?
Charles.
Charles Oliveira, right?
Yeah,
You're not
I
giving
could be very
Chandler.
wrong. I could be very wrong. Michael Chandler's a game dude. He's a fucking gamer. But I think where he loses his fights is in fight IQ.
Whoa, whoa. But then I think he's quite prepared for this one hand. He has a chip on his shoulder. He has a point to prove in this one, and I think I'm giving them the edge. I love Charles Oliveira, absolutely. I think recently I haven't studied his body of work, and I think he should actually be in that GOAT conversation.
Who?
Most
Charles?
submissions, yeah, Charles Oliveira, most submissions in the UFC history, most, finishes in lightweight history. Come on. And
I don't
he's been
know.
a
John
champion
John
before.
Jones is the GOAT. I'll put it like this. I love Michael Chandler. I love everything he's about. But when he goes out and competes, he takes all his skill in all and he just tries to out tough people. You're
He's
in a sport
explosive.
where not only do you have to be tough, you have to be skilled and you have to be fucking smart. He throws all his fight IQ out the goddamn window and tries to kill you. Like I love watching him fight. It makes the most entertaining fights, but he throws fight IQ out the fucking window. Tell me
And
I'm
that's
wrong.
why you're not far from the truth. And that is why Sarukian, threw a jab at him and said you could have lost 4 exciting fights in the space in the span of time you were waiting for Conor McGregor. But do you think, he was right to have waited for Conor McGregor?
Look, man, it's his career. He can do what he wants. He thinks he's gonna get a payday. You tell me that I'm gonna make millions fighting some guy. I'm gonna wait. I'm broke kid, man. I'm broke. You tell me I'm gonna make millions, and I'm sure Michael Chandler's doing way more well off. He's way more well off than I am.
And
It's
he had to wait. But it's
he
it's
didn't
it's
have
it's too
to.
long.
He
It's
can do
too
whatever he
long of a
wants.
wait. It's too
Yeah, I
long
don't
of
know
a
if
wait.
Conor will ever come back.
I don't know as well. Like Connor is just, teasing everybody. It's just trolling everybody. Connor is
Yeah,
more like a troll right now. UFC 309, Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. Who are you riding with?
Bo Nickel. I believe the hype. I've seen Bo Nickel fight live. His first time on the Contender Series, and I was like, holy shit! And you could just feel that energy there. And that was in the Apex. And you could feel that kid's something special. I think Bo Nickel's going to win. I think Paul Craig's
So
a step up in competition. I think he had a tough fight his last fight, or maybe not so much a tough fight, but I think he got tested a little bit his last fight. Who did he fight again? Why am I know the guy.
Paul
He fought
Craig
Cody
or
Brundage.
Bonico?
No, yeah,
Okay.
he fought Cody Brundage, and I think that was a big step up
Yeah.
for him. And I think that was a
It
much
was quite a
tougher
step
fight.
up. Yeah,
But I think
it was a tough
I believe
test.
the hype with Bo Nickel. He's the truth,
Do you see him becoming a future champion?
potentially. But there's a
So
lot of moving factors that go into that. Politics go into
mhm.
that. Being rushed there goes into it because he's got so much hype behind him. He's kind of getting forced to fight these top 10, top 15 guys. And I'm not saying Paul Craig's a top 10, top 15 guy. What's he ranked right now? Is he in the top 15?
He's no longer in the top 15, but he used to be in the top 15.
Yeah, so he's still a top 15 guy, because any given day, any one of those guys could be world champion. And I think this is a big step up, and it's going to be a little bit harder than he thinks, and I think he's going to be ultimately disappointed in his performance even when he finishes.
And you know what? Paul Craig is, yeah, speaking of somebody submitting somebody from their back, he did submit Uncle Live off his back
Did he beat
some years
Jamal
ago.
Hill off his back too?
Was that off his
Was
back?
that Paul Craig?
And he submitted Jamal Hill, like he dislocated his
Elbow, and he
shoulder or
was hitting him
something.
from a triangle. Yeah,
Yeah, from a triangle. So
yeah,
Paul Craig is
that was
very,
him, right?
very dangerous. Yeah. So like he is submitted two elite level championship fighters, right? These are two guys who fought for the belt, and they have been submitted by Paul Craig. So I feel like there is that danger element for Bonico because he's not very experienced, even though he's very talented.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Cody. I think Bo Nickel's grappling is going to be far superior to Paul Craig's jiu-jitsu. And I think
Think so?
yeah, unless he does something stupid and gets caught. Yeah.
Just like Ankalaev. Ankalaev was destroying Paul Craig throughout that fight. And just a few seconds to the end of the round, he caught him in that triangle. You need to go watch that fight again. It was
Yeah.
embarrassing. Ankalaev tapped. He did not believe it. He tapped. So I can only wait to see. We have 2 more sleeps to discover what is going to happen. Whoa! The shameless philosophy. So you have made this into a philosophy. How do you apply it, in your personal life and your career?
That's pretty simple. Don't sell out. Don't sell out. Be you. I live in Vegas, and I don't live in Vegas. I spend most of my time in Vegas training. I live in Massachusetts, but the people are different in Vegas, and everyone,
Mm,
for the most part, it's very difficult to make some genuine friends. I do have a few genuine friends. They're fucking awesome, but
mm,
the main difference is I won't change me to be what someone else wants. Like I'm looking for a little workout in Vegas, and it's like I'm gonna be me, right? And this is what you're gonna
mm,
get. Yeah, I see a lot of people, blend in, fade in the back. They're robots. They're being what they're wanted to be, not who they are. And I see people, trying to. I think robot's kind of the perfect word. It's like if you're applying for a job and you give this robotic answer, you're getting a robot. Like people aren't people. They're
mm-hmm.
out there. They're very superficial. They're very superficial and unauthentic. And my philosophy is
Very,
I'm gonna
very
be
true.
so fucking me. You're either gonna like me or you're not, and you're gonna get what you get. And if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. And if you don't, all right, next.
Love and respect for me, because for me, I'm very authentic myself, and I can very much relate to what you're saying. And something I've realized with being authentic is you get 2 extremes, right? You have people that love you very much,
Mm-hmm.
and you have people that dislike you very much. So there isn't really a middle ground with being authentic because it's
Well,
either they
of
like you
course,
or they hate you.
of course.
And mix it in with being shameless, right?
Oh, that's
You
the
don't
thing.
care.
Like can't. I don't have time to care about people that don't want me to be me, right? Like, look, I'm plenty smart. I could figure out, I could learn anything I want to learn, right? Like, I might not know everything, but I don't
Mhm.
have any disabilities that prevent me from learning, right? So any topic I could learn about, right? Presented with the information in the right way. Like, there's nothing I can't learn, right? So I feel as if, even though I don't have that college education, I can get, I could learn to do any job anyone wants. That is my goal. I do need to make some money on the side, but like, I can't change who I am
Mm,
to be what someone else wants, right?
exactly.
I can just be
But
me.
it's crazy. Like in this age and time, a lot of people want fake people.
Look at Instagram, man. Look
They
at
want people
Instagram.
to fit into certain narratives.
Yeah, like it's like, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion. Look at Instagram. It's how many people are playing this persona that they're something that they're not. Everything on my Instagram, typos and all, is fucking me. Typos and all, it's me. I might go edit a typo, but like I get a lot of input from people that read my posts, like, hey, maybe you should phrase this a different way. It's like, but I said it the way I said it in my head. Like, you're getting that raw. Like, I might sound like a fucking idiot, and it's fine. You're getting me.
It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's whatever I'm feeling in that moment.
Let's talk about your personal growth and your mindset, right? You refer to yourself as an alien, right? So can you
Yeah.
explain that? Yeah, what does it mean to embrace your unique identity?
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about right now. It's just being you, man. Dude, ain't that like, you can't take shit too seriously. You got to take some shit seriously. Some shit's important. But like, my
Mhm.
one rule is don't die. And I want to come sometimes as close to death as possible and get out on the other side. I like the thrill and excitement that scary things bring. And fighting's the scariest thing that you could do. You know, um, we're all just kind of hanging out on this rock, not knowing what the fuck's going on. Like, just be you,
Speaking
be
of
weird.
scary, speaking of
Yeah.
scary, speaking of scary things, right? Aside from fighting, what other scary things have you tried?
Cliff jumping's pretty scary. I love climbing shit. I've crashed a couple motorcycles. Don't recommend that. That's not fun. But boy, was that fucking scary. I don't know, man.
Okay, so would you like to try bungee jumping, for example?
I would do that. Absolutely.
How about skydiving?
Absolutely. I would do it.
I think skydiving is quite cool.
Yeah, it's wicked cool.
It's
You know,
cool
you
but
know,
expensive.
of course, that's why I don't do most shit, because it's expensive. It's like, you know what really interests me? Like, those squirrel suits where you see someone go like off a cliff and they just like fly through the mountain because one wrong turn and you hit a tree going 100 miles an hour. That shit looks exciting. You know what I'm talking about?
What's it called?
Like, people go like base jumping in these squirrel suits. So like, they have a parachute, but let's say you jump off a mountain, right? And you got this, like, these wings attached to the suit and you just glide.
No way. It sounds like things that do with this Red Bull thing. Have you seen?
Yeah,
Do you follow
that's
Red
exactly what
Bull
I'm
on
talking about.
Instagram?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they have really crazy stuff, and I'm like, whoa, no way. And then there's this other one, parkour stunts.
Parkour is cool. It's like, I can get
I
behind that,
know,
but it's like, the last thing I want
no.
to do to pull out of a fight is break my ankle because I jumped off from one building to another. Like that.
From
That
one building to another building, I'm like, do these guys have another life at home?
Look, man.
Man,
Last I
man.
checked, there's no such thing unless you're playing Monopoly. There's no such thing as get out of jail free cards, and you don't get 9 lives. You
I
know what I
know.
mean?
No way, no way. I don't think anybody where I come from would do that.
Hmm.
In Nigeria, they'll say your village people are after you. If you do that, your village people are finally won.
Yeah.
No way, no way, no. That's crazy stuff. Parkour, it's cool to watch, but it's not something you want to
Oh,
get
but
involved in.
that's got to be thrilling. right? It's like if I slip, I'm fucking dead.
No, no way. No.
You know?
No, no way. And Nigerians will say your village people will deliberately make you sleep. So you don't want your village people to have the last laugh. So you just want to be cool way. So like how do you enter your focus, your resilience, through the highs and the lows of fighting and entrepreneurship? Because fighting is a roller coaster. Entrepreneurship as well is another roller coaster. So how do you maintain, focus and resilience?
Well, you got to make sure the juice is worth the squeeze. And it's like, after a fight, you get paid, and you get paid more than working an hourly. And, you could blow all that money in a few weeks, in a month, but you got to make that stretch out till you're able to compete again. And it's very much live by the sword, die by the sword. You can't, you know, you got to make that stretch. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's hard to get fights. Sometimes, you lose a fight and then you can't get people at your next one. You win a fight and you're on top of the world. So, you just got to put in your best work every day. You got to do something for yourself every day. You need to disconnect every day and just have that self-belief and believe that like things will be all right at the end. Because like you
Interesting.
said, man, it's a fucking roller coaster. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. And it's not easy, dude. Being a fighter fucking sucks. It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. And that's why not so many people do it. You have to be a certain level of extreme crazy to decide this is what I want to do for a living. And that is why I strongly believe that fighters, deserve more respect because they do what other people run away from.
Well, it's not so much other people run away from, but like there's a million other things I could be doing right now. But nothing feeds my soul more than this. Like when I'm getting ready for a fight and I'm competing and I'm hitting everyone up, it's just like I'm filling that cup and that cup is overflowing. Like my soul cup, you're just filling that thing up and it's just like overfilling with food for my soul. And that is the biggest reward. Winning a fight is the highest of highs, and goddamn is losing fucking depressing. Like you face some serious fucking depression losing a fight, especially when you put your soul into it. And fortunately and unfortunately, most people will never know.
Speaking of depression, right? That perfectly aligns with my next question to you. So, what is the mindset that keeps you going, especially during the challenging times? How do you go? They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But how do you keep going in the challenging times?
That's hard, man. I don't know. I don't know. Because like I've lost fights, I've had things go on in my personal life. I've lost a million times. And losing's the worst thing. It fucking sucks. Just being stubborn and not giving up, and like that's why I'm still here. That's why I'm still competing. It's
Mm.
like I'm gonna run this till my wheels fall off. Like I'm gonna do this till I can't anymore. And just that, you just gotta be fucking. Maybe it's stupidity, maybe it's stubbornness. Who knows what it is? It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things, but like I remember, there was a fight. I broke my neck. I was in depression for a year long, crawling my way out of it day by day. Fucking couldn't exercise for 3 months. Started to exercise, overdid it. Couldn't talk. I sound like this for a year and a half. You know, no, you're laughing that like that's what I sounded like for a year and a half. And it's funny to joke about now, but like at the time,
Yeah, that's
my
the thing.
father,
When you're going through it, it's really, really crazy, sad. But
yeah,
now that you're out of it, we can laugh about it.
I could, yeah, no, I have no problem or issue with anyone laughing. It is kind of funny, but like, try talking to a girl like, "Hey, my name's Don," right? Like, try getting late. Good luck with that, bud. You either got to own it or not. No, I'm serious. Like,
Whoa, those are hard times.
dude, almost 2
Those
years, my
are
voice
hard
was
times.
like that. It's like but you know, nothing's forever. So you just gotta like keep doing what you're doing.
Just keep going. So now you are with Cage Titans. You have a fight coming up with Cage
Yes, sir.
Titans.
Yes, sir. January 25th, Cage Titan 69 main event right here, fighting for the 145 title.
Why featherweight
Yeah.
title,
Yes,
bro?
sir.
I wish you the very, very best.
Oh, thank you,
Cage
brother.
Titans, and of course, speaking of Cage, I am going for a Cage Warriors event
Yep.
tomorrow in
Let's go.
London. Of course, I'm quite excited because I'm going to be VIP right in
Yes,
front of the
sir.
cage. I love it. I love the thrill of watching it. I was at Bellator's event in London as well. I was VIP as well, right in front of the cage. I liked the production, so it's
Hmm.
quite cool. Like, I can see the cage directly, and then I can also see the big screen as well. So
Hmm.
you see directly on the screen. But I think the big screen gives you like a better image because the cage is what I say a bit like protected. So it's like you're watching in between the walls of the cage
Oh, of
with your
course.
naked eyes. Yeah.
So the cool thing about Cage Titans is like they have the floor, and the floor is where all the energy is, right? All the energy's on the floor. That's where you feel the energy. But
Yeah, and
like,
you feeling it.
of course, you
Like
feel
when they
that
go for a
energy.
takedown, for example, when I go for a takedown, I hear boom, and then the vibration, I feel
Yeah,
it
yeah,
right in
you
front.
feel that energy. But the cool thing about Cage Titans is that it's at this memorial hall. So it's like a theater almost. So like one level up is the mezzanine, and that to me is where the best view is because you're not looking up in the cage, you're looking eye level. So you could minus one post, you could see everything that's going on in that cage, right? And then there's an upper
Oh,
balcony where you're looking down to the cage, but you're dealing with the top of the cage. But like that mezzanine level is like where my dad likes to sit. He likes to get the best view. So he's sitting right there on the mezzanine. Granted, it's not where all the energy is on the floor, but you get that best view.
so you think the mezzanine level is the best, but it's crazy. The mezzanine tickets are cheaper than the floor tickets, like the ones
Or
directly in front of the cage.
yeah, because think about it.
How
The,
come?
the people that buy those floor tickets for the UFC, they're all casuals. They're never going to a UFC for another 5 years. They don't know the difference between like being on the floor, getting a very set view and sitting a little bit further back and getting an eye level view. They're two different things because since they're all casuals, they go to fights once every 5 years and they're like, oh, I spent $3,000 to get a floor ticket rather than the guy that spent $400 and got a mezzanine ticket.
But if you're gonna sit down with Dana White, you're gonna be on the floor.
Yeah, but he's cage side. It's a little different. You're gonna be cage side.
Yeah, so like it's the experience is quite cool because
Yes.
like you absorb it. But what really gets to me, right, with the kid side is you feeling the energy directly. Like
Hmm.
when the punches land, you can hear it. It feels like you can feel it. The takedowns are what get to me because I hear and then I feel the vibration right in
Yeah,
front of me.
it bounces off the
I'm
canvas.
like, whoa, what's happening? I feel like I'm the one beating up.
Yeah.
It's quite a cool experience, bro. Quite
Do
a
you
cool
compete at
experience.
all?
No, because I don't like injuries. So you see,
Me
like
neither. Me
I
neither. What
don't
about
like
training? Do you
injuries.
train?
Yes, I do train, but
What are you
compete,
training?
no. So I used to train taekwondo,
Okay, dope, dope.
yeah, and karate. So I'm looking to probably train jiu-jitsu very soon. I'll get a jiu-jitsu gym. Yeah, I
Heck
like
yeah.
I like that grappling, it's really nice, when you can address situations, you can address self-defense situations, right,
Hmm.
without having to throw strikes. You
Of
know,
course.
it's really cool. So I'll tell you something. So there was a situation, at a party, sometime last year, and
Yep.
there was this guy who was going to stab another guy,
Okay.
and I was right there. I was like, what is happening right here? And the guy who wanted to stab the other guy, he's a heavyweight. Me, I fluctuate between, let's say, 170, 180 thereabout. So
Okay.
if I were to cut weight, that's my walk around weight. If I were to cut weight, I could cut weight to lightweight, right?
Probably
So, but
45,
then
55. Yeah.
yeah, I could cut weight to lightweight, but I walk around as a welterweight. And then there's this guy, this heavyweight guy, who wants to stab this guy that is like a bantamweight. walk around. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? This is the height of bullying. So I had to address the situation. And then I caught the guy in a rear naked choke, right? And got him out. And then he felt so cool. And everyone was like, wow, you saved the day. And then, I started falling more in love with jiu-jitsu because jiu-jitsu can help you, save
First of
situations.
all, you're lucky you didn't get stabbed. What a fucking prick bringing a knife to a fight.
I'm like, I had to attack him from the back, hit the knife off, then, secure the choke. You get
Yeah,
it? So,
no.
like, the
You're
knife was
very
out.
fortunate. You're very like I'm sure
Like,
that was the
what?
coolest.
Why?
I'm sure that was the coolest, most thrilling feeling you felt in a very long time though.
I'm telling you, I'm like, what? Why would you stab somebody? Why?
I don't
But these things happen at parties, when people get drunk, they start getting aggressive.
that's the thing. It's like I don't think anyone since I train all the time and I know what's actually capable of happening, it's like I don't think anyone can like anger me outside my family. I don't think anyone can anger me enough to like get physical with them. Unless they get physical with me, I don't think anyone can like piss me off in like a normal setting where it's like I just met this person and they're being a dick, like all right, bud, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like I don't think any unless someone harms someone or
Hmm.
does something like terrible to a family member of mine
Hmm.
or like betrays me, I don't think anyone can like upset me enough to like get physical with them.
Wait until you see drunk people in parties, and
Bro,
then
I've been bartending for 15 years now. I've been in a bar
you
for
know what I'm.
15 years.
So you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. But like
you know, like
that
you
shit
see
doesn't
them, they
bother
start
me.
out
I'm
being
used to
cool.
it. Yeah, it's
They
like
start out being cool, and then all of a sudden you want to like harm another person. I'm like, how would this happen? I'm here, and just a few meters away from me, somebody's killing another person. Like,
hey, my friend, I gotta press pause. I gotta go grab a phone charger. I'm at 5%.
okay, man,
Give
no
me
worries.
get 30 seconds.
Go for it.
Gonna have to adjust a little bit. Stays. All right. You can see me, right?
Yeah, sure. I
All right,
can't
cool,
see
cool.
you.
I can't see me now, so it's cool.
You cannot see yourself.
No,
Okay,
I
it
have a
means you
box.
need, you need to. Oh, it means you need to adjust it a little bit then.
Oh no, 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 no. What I'm saying is, I have a box holding my phone up now. So,
There you go. There you go. That's better.
all right, cool.
There you go. There you go. So tell me about the bar fight. So what bar fights have you had to neutralize?
Just drunk people, like getting kicked out of bars and wanting to fight, and honestly, like, what I've realized? Most of those people are fucking insecure because I'll tell you what, people go to a bar to create conversations and hang out with friends, and if you're
Hmm.
single, you go out to get laid, right? Guess what happens when you get into a bar fight?
What
You get kicked
happens?
out of the bar and you don't get laid. It's that simple. You feel me though, right? Like, hey, guess what? You get into a
Crazy.
bar fight, guess what you're not doing tonight? Now, I can tell you,
That's actually very true. That is true.
you're getting
So
kicked
you
out of the
lose
bar.
it. You lose it both ways. But I,
Yeah.
ju- I just wonder why people get really aggressive with alcohol, and it was quite scary. What is happening? So for you, what do you utilize? Do you utilize jiu-jitsu to neutralize this kind of situations, right? Or do you utilize your striking? Because in my head, I'm like, okay, I can't be striking somebody. I can't be
Yeah,
hitting
well,
this person.
the objective in a bar fight is to make sure it doesn't get physical, right? And if it
Hmm.
does get physical, you try to neutralize it without hitting the fucking person because if you're working and you hit someone, you're fired. But there's a little bit of wiggle room if you get hit and like but honestly most of the time bar fights happen is due to insecurity.
Hmm.
You wouldn't be believe how many guys that you see that use alcohol as a vessel to just display how insecure they are about themselves. And
Hmm.
it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. Like, it's entertaining for me.
No, like I don't like the beast that emanates from certain people when they are drunk. You think it's a whole different person because you see them, you observe them, they're quite, cool, they're quite friendly with themselves, and when alcohol is in the system, they start acting aggressive, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? What's happening here?
Yeah.
I just like to observe it in such situations. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And for me, I've never ever been drunk in my life.
No, you don't
Never.
drink? That's awesome. How old are you?
It's not like I don't drink. I do drink, but I've never been drunk in my life.
Okay.
I've only been buzzed. I'm 32. So in 32 years, still not drunk. I don't
Oh, you're
know.
doing pretty all right then.
At what age would I get drunk?
Whenever,
I don't need
no,
to.
no one cares. You know what I mean? Like, do whatever you want.
I don't need to. So when I was in university, I had this colleague who used to get drunk, and say a lot of bullshit. Like for me, it was I don't know what to say, but like he just made me not to like drinking to stupor
Hmm.
because I saw that as a bad example. It's like no way. Very brilliant individual, brilliant guy, but anytime he drank, he would just, go on, make a mess of himself. I'm like, no, I don't want to be this way.
You don't have to. And everyone's different. You know?
hmm
Everyone's
hmm
different.
So it kind of makes you more self-conscious.
I don't think it makes you more self conscious, but I think it inhibits some emotions that you try to bury, right? Like if you're insecure and shy, what happens when you start drinking? You're like your walls come down a little bit. Guess what? You're still insecure and
Mm.
shy, but now you have a false sense of confidence to go up to someone and say hello. And like maybe you get shut
Oh,
down, maybe you don't, and then guess what? You know?
that's why I like that song. There's this song, I don't know. I've forgotten who sang it right now. This girl, she says, I am so much fun without Hennessy. Then that's the way I feel about myself. Like I'm fun without being high. Like I'm cool, I'm confident without being high. So why
Well,
do I need to be high?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like confidence is confidence, right? That's how you feel about yourself. And
hmm
that's a look within yourself. And to me, I think the sexiest thing ever across people is confidence, like genuine confidence. Now, that
hmm
can be misinterpreted with arrogance or cockiness from
hmm
people that could be misinterpreted when you're truly
hmm
confident, right? Like you don't have
hmm
to go out and brag about anything. You just
Yes,
you know what you know. But like that can be interpreted as arrogant for people that lack confidence. So it's like,
exactly. Exactly.
there is a fine line, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, It's like if you're confident, cool. Confidence
Exactly.
is sexy to me. But if you're
Exactly. And
not,
I tell people the same thing.
go talk to yourself in the mirror until you are. It's like go gas your like because
Well,
I've struggled with confidence issues. You know what I mean? Like growing up a short
mm,
fat kid, I wasn't the most confident dude. I was too scared to talk to girls. Like
mm.
come a long way.
Wow, that's interesting. Because I tell people there's a fine line between being confident and being cocky, and people tend to misinterpret it sometimes, especially people with insecurities, right? So people like to project their own insecurities on other people. So if they are somewhat insecure and they interact with confident persons, they
Hmm.
might feel like that confidence is some sort of arrogance. So there
Well,
is, you know,
they might, or they'd be like, "Wow, damn, that dude has their shit put together. Like that
mhm.
that guy's walking the walk. He's got his shit. He knows who he is. Maybe you don't. And honestly, that's not your job is to find out their opinion. Their opinion doesn't fucking matter. It's how you talk and feel about yourself.
My man says the opinion does not matter.
No, it doesn't.
That's quite true. That's quite true. The opinion that really, really matters is how you feel about yourself, how you think about
Of
yourself,
course.
what you see yourself as, right? And looking at your own journey, right? Like what lessons would you say you have learned, from your entrepreneurial journey thus far? Because for me, I feel like there's a lot of similarities between entrepreneurship and fighting because life itself is a fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like,
Yeah. So what lessons have you learned from being an entrepreneur?
man, I mean, they all coincide with, to me, it's all one, right? Like all these lessons, you know, they all blend together. because I got so many things going on at once that it's hard to be like, all right, being an entrepreneur, like this project went to shit. This idea went nowhere. This fucking design was garbage. This one fucking hit, but this one didn't. This one didn't. You know, just like that same being stubborn and not quitting. Like that'll get you so far in life.
So let you pause here, right? Now, there are skills, there are mentalities, right,
Yeah,
that translate from fighting, right, directly into business success.
of course.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but
So,
but
so,
once
so,
you
so
see the path in one thing, you see the path in all things, right? Like
hmm,
if you can make it doing this, you can make it doing anything. I'll tell you what, right? Like let's say as a little kid you, right? You wanted to be an astronaut. And it
hmm,
didn't matter if an astronaut wasn't invented yet or you didn't know about space. You thought in your mind that you wanted to leave this planet and you can't like and you were just so motivated. Like once you see the path in one thing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can see the path in all things. Most people are just following the herd. They're not ready to walk down that uncomfortable path, and it takes a lot of dirty hard work.
hmm. So, for somebody like yourself, you have taken unconventional pathways, right,
Mhm.
to achieving the success that you've achieved, as a human being. But what would you say to other people thinking about taking a risk, going against the grain in their own lives? Because a lot of people are scared of taking risks, right? But like my father used to say, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So
Yeah.
what's your advice to, the younger generation when it comes to uh charting their own pathways in life?
Trim the fat and figure it the fuck out. Like you have to figure that out. Like everyone's gonna have their own way of doing something. Trim the fat and figure it out. And what I mean by trim the fat is like cut out all the bullshit. You know how many times I've had to move cross country without my friends or family? You know how uncomfortable
Mm,
that is? You know how many times I packed up a car and just left to training at a new gym? COVID, like trim the fat. Your girl fucking wants you to go out on dates on Friday night. Oh, it's date night. And you gotta wait for a fight or you're fighting in a month and you can't. Trim the fat. Your job wants you to work fucking an extra 10 hours and you're not getting compensated for it. Trim the fat. Fuck that job. Because unless no, seriously, like but how many friends do you have that are working these salary jobs that are putting in over 40 hours a week? They're not getting any extra for that. You own the fucking business, you get paid, right? Trim the fat, figure it out. The road less traveled is way more rewarding, but way more uncomfortable.
way more uncomfortable. True that is.
And everyone
So
says like get comfortable being uncomfortable. Shit, I can't
yes.
remember the last time I was comfortable. Fuck, man.
You long left your comfort zone.
What's a
Your comfort
comfort
zone is
zone?
far from you. You don't even have a comfort zone.
What's a comfort zone?
This man does not even have a comfort zone.
No, dude. Like, dude, shit's stressful. Get over it. Figure it out, you know?
No comfort zones, bro. Where do you see the Shameless Nation in the next, couple of years? What's the vision for the future?
Ah, man. I think it'd be pretty cool to, well, I don't know. My phone's ringing at my family's house, so I can't shut it off. We're gonna have to ride that one out.
uh,
Yeah. Thank God that's over. So, what's my goal? I want to inspire people. I want people to not know who I am, to see me go out and compete and be inspired by my performance and be like, I want to be the unknown guy because I've had my back against the wall so many times in my life and I've had nothing I could do but bite down and throw, you know? And I want to be the guy that look, man, I don't need to be financially stable. Like money doesn't determine my success. I want to inspire people, and I want the ripple effect of some fucking kid I inspire to change the world. You know, because you don't know the power of one sentence. It takes one sentence that like said the right way to fucking influence someone in a positive way or a negative way. You know that's yin and yang, but if I could say the right thing to the right kid at the right time, and that kid fucking, tries out for soccer, you don't know if that kid will get a scholarship 10 years down the road or what, right? So I think my ultimate goal is to inspire people and put on crazy performances and be me. That's my goal.
Mm. So speaking of, inspiring people, so what's your advice to, people who feel stuck, who feel unsure about big leaps in life? What's your advice to them?
Can you say that again?
So you talked about you wanting to be an inspiration onto people,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
So what's your advice to people who feel stuck in life? They feel like they're stuck, right? And they want to make a big leap in life. They want to go for something big in life. What's your advice to them?
Just fucking do it. No one can do it but you, right? Like you have to do it. It's probably not going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of fucking bullshit you're going to have to deal with. But if you really want it, it will be rewarding, but you have to do it. If it's
Interesting.
something truly you're passionate about, right? Like, relate to this to sales, right? Like I do my own sponsorship, and I could sell me. I'm great at selling me. Hey man, you want to sponsor me? This is what I'm trying to do, right? But you can't sell me, not the way I can sell me, right? Like
Hmm.
you just have to go out and do it. You could never sell me like I could sell me because you're not me. You could sell
Exactly.
you. You could sell you. I can't sell you like you could sell
You
you.
can, yeah, you can't sell me the way I sell myself.
Yeah,
Whoa. That's what Nike says, just do it.
yeah.
Just do
Let's
it.
do it. Yeah. It's that
Whoa.
simple.
So how can people connect with you? Like, do you like let people connect with you, share off, your positive energy, like,
Yeah.
or how do the fans connect with you?
I'm super active on social media. Anyone that DMs me gets a response. Obviously, there's a lot of spam out there, so not everyone gets a reply. But I go through my filtered messages quite a ton. Yeah, just reach out. Just say what's up. Reach out. Hey, I'm a fan. Whatever. Shameless Don. Everything. All my socials. Shameless Don. That's simple.
Nice, nice, nice. So before I let you go, let me put you on the spot. Top five MMA goats of all time. So who is going to make your top five list?
Shit. If you asked me before fucking the last UFC, it would have been Max Holloway, Max Holloway, Max Holloway, Max Holloway, John Jones. I fucking love Max.
But Max has been minimized.
No. Max is still one of my favorites.
So who's going to
Max is
make top
number
five?
one. My top five MMA goats, who I think's great or who I like.
Who you think is great, and what's your criteria, anyways? Because I sort of maybe came up with my own criteria, right? And I think lately I have to change, the people on my list. So basically, the criteria I used previously is sporting accomplishments and bringing awareness, of the sport,
Okay.
to, yeah,
I'm
global
gonna throw a couple OGs in
fan
this.
base. Yeah.
So Max Holloway's number one. He's been my favorite for a minute now. Even before the fucking Gaethje fight, dude. How can you not love Max? Max is the best.
Yeah. To be the best, you have to beat the best, and the best is blessed.
Yeah,
Max
yeah.
is blessed.
Here's one. Uriah Faber.
That's an OG. That's an
I've met Uriah
OG.
Faber.
Like,
Met him in
in
Australia,
person.
met him in Vegas. I met him a few times, but I'm not talking him while towards the end of his UFC career. I'm talking about like before he was in the UFC, like Uriah Faber and WEC fighting Mike Brown, like that Uriah Faber. I remember watching him fight and like getting in an argument with one of my friends in this very fucking basement, being like, "Yo, dude, I could fight in the UFC." And watching him fight at
Mm.
135, and he's like, "Bro, I could fuck up Uriah Faber." I'm like, "No, you wouldn't." But I think one day that like I can compete there, and like watching him fight, dude, he was such a dog. And like at the time he was that guy. Same thing with Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone at the end of his career, I think he called it a little bit too late. But watching him when he was in WEC, he was that fucking dude.
No,
He
he was
was
very good,
that fucking guy.
and I'm happy he made it into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, dude, I love Cowboy.
Okay,
Cowboy was one of
respect
my
to Cowboy.
favorites. Dude, watching him, he went on a fucking crazy run, and watching him fight was one of my favorite things to do. Again, in this very fucking basement. I got two more, right? How can you not love Dustin Poirier?
I feel like that is one of the best lightweights ever not to win the undisputed lightweight championship belt.
Didn't he win an
That's,
interim?
yeah,
He won an
keyword
interim.
undisputed. So he's one of the best never to win the undisputed. It's quite sad. Himself, Tony Ferguson as well. Tony Ferguson was interim. He was interim.
I think Tony
Gaethje was
Ferguson was
interim as well.
champion.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Tony
Tony
Ferguson was
champion?
interim champion. Yeah, Tony was interim champion. Dustin Poirier was an interim champion. Dustin beat Max for the interim championship. Gaethje beat Ferguson for the interim championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when
Obviously,
Khabib was champion.
Volk is great. Gaethje, I love Gaethje. McGregor, on his belt run was great. Not McGregor now. Trying to think. I got one more spot. Khabib's fantastic.
Those are honorable mentions. How about Anderson Silva? What do you think about him and his legacy?
Anderson Silva, legend. Forrest Griffin, legend. Stephen Bonner, legend. John Jones, legend. Like, these guys are all
Ra-
just like old timers and so good.
Rashad Evans,
Legend. Fucking.
Fedor Emelianenko
Oh man,
never
I don't
fought in
think
the
we.
UFC.
No, I know that, and that's so disappointing, right? He could have been that guy in the UFC. He went to Bellator. You know, he's an OG. You're talking Chuck Liddell. You're talking some OGs here.
The
Yeah,
Iceman Chuck Liddell. Wow. We're
yeah.
talking about okay, GSP, for example.
We'll go GSP. We'll go GSP. Yeah,
So you go with GSP?
GSP takes the
So
last name.
wow, interesting. So what do you think about the middleweight champions after GSP? Michael Bisping,
Yep.
Rob Whittaker,
Well,
Israel
Michael
Adesanya.
Bisping was before GSP.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's true. GSP beats Bisping to get the title. Then I think
Yeah.
GSP vacated the title. Then Rob Whittaker got the title.
Yep. Then
Then
Izzy. Then
Easy
Strickland. Then Duplessis. No,
Strickland,
Izzy, Pereira, Hotan.
Pereira.
Then Izzy. Then Strickland. Then Duplessis.
So what do
I
you
don't
think
think.
about
I don't think Strickland lost to Duplessis though. I think that fight.
it was close, but I bet on Duplessis in that fight.
Yeah. So of course you wanted Duplessis to win, but like if you bet on him, of course you wanted him to win. But like, go watch it back and tell me if you think he did win. Two different stories.
I did watch it back, right? And I think he edged it out. Just edged it. I think it was razor close. That
Yeah,
that
but
that is me being honest to you.
I don't know. I think Strickland was the king, and you got to kill the king to be the king.
Yes, yes.
Everyone wants
So
to be the king. People just want to fuck the
uh
prince, though. Like.
whoa, that was lit. That heat hard. It takes a while to heat, but he heats.
Oh yeah.
Interested. Everybody wants to be the king. Okay,
No,
okay.
everyone wants to kill the king, but people just want to fuck the prince.
Okay. So Strickland, but it
Yeah.
looks like Strickland is not going to get the title shot.
Why? I like Strickland. Why isn't
Hamzat, Hamzat Chimaev.
hard? Yeah, hard. Between a rock and a hard spot there.
Yeah,
Hamzat. If
Hamzat.
Hamzat gets the next shot, I think he beats Duplessis. Hamzat's a problem, bro. So
You seriously think Hamzat beats Duplessis?
yeah, I think Strickland beat Duplessis too.
So, do you think? So you were saying Hamzat beats Duplessis. So who would you match Easy against? And by the way, did you like Easy's championship run?
Did I like his what?
His championship run, like his era, his
Yeah,
reign.
he cleaned out the division, but he could never be two-time champ. So like he's a great.
He's two-time champ. He
Yeah.
just did not achieve three-time champ.
No, I'm talking about two-weight class.
Okay, okay, two-way classes. Okay.
He did go on a great run. Like he beat fucking Gaslam. He beat Whitaker. He beat a ton of. He cleaned out the division,
And of
but
course, he came back to beat Pereira.
that was huge. I don't know, man. I like Poton versus all the heavyweights minus John Jones.
But John Jones is looking at fighting Portan. He doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall, and it's quite a crazy situation right now. So, what do you think about this situation of Tom Aspinall and John Jones? Tom Aspinall desperately wants to fight John Jones, but John Jones, does not think Tom Aspinall deserves that fight.
John Jones is smart. He knows Aspinall is a much tougher fight on paper than Strickland or Poton. Not Strickland, excuse me. Stipe or Poton. So what he's doing is he's taking the easier fights for more money.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing. Yeah, I keep telling people Tom Aspinall is more risk, less reward.
of course, but that being said, you let Tom Aspinall win 1-2, keep talking shit. Now, when he does fight Tom Aspinall, after he fights Stipe, then Poton, then he fights Aspinall. I think Aspinall, if he can continue on that tear he's on, he is going to be a megastar fighting another megastar.
So, do you think the UFC, let's assume now we're playing psychic here, we're playing MMA math. Let's assume John Jones beats Stipe come Saturday. Do you
Yeah,
think the UFC would be able to strong arm John Jones to fight Aspinall?
we'll see if he retires or not.
But then he says he would likely relinquish the belt and just take on fun fights. He was talking about fighting Derek Lewis, for example, most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history, fighting
He's just cherry picking
Portan,
fights
for
at that
example.
point.
But he's
Yep.
not interested in fighting Tom Aspinall. There's
Dude, he's
this
a megastar.
reporter.
He's making millions. He's just cherry picking easier fights.
So, so do you think he's gonna win the belt, then vacate the belt and promote Aspinall to undisputed champion?
Maybe. If he does, yeah. We might get a double retirement on Saturday.
Well, that is true. That is true because Stipe as well. Stipe as well. I think Stipe win or lose, Stipe would retire.
Oh,
I don't see Stipe wanting to fight any longer. Stipe is 40 or 41? How old is Stipe?
I think he's 42.
42. I don't see Stipe fighting any longer. But in in a world wherein John Jones gets to fight Tom Aspinall, who do you see coming out? The winner.
Depends what John Jones shows up.
What John Jones? The one that showed up against Cyril
If
Gane?
if we got DUI John Jones that fought Alexander Gustafsson, I think Aspinall wins. But if we see a motivated John Jones that wants to fucking kill DC, I think that John Jones wins.
Let's see. Let's see. So Saturday, Saturday,
Mhm.
Saturday. John Jones versus Stipe. What do you think is Stipe's pathway to victory?
Clipping John Jones, knocking him out.
Well, who's your money on?
John Jones.
I got my money on John Jones as well. Let's
I could be
wait
very wrong.
and
I could be very wrong. And then I owe Stipe an apology.
I like the disclaimer. I like the disclaimer. I could be very wrong.
I'm not counting Stipe out though. Like it's not like it's gonna be a landslide. It's John Jones, but what John Jones are we gonna get? That's like Conor McGregor, but what fucking McGregor are we gonna get?
McGregor off eBay. Oh, McGregor from Amazon.
Wish.com.
Wish.com. Alibaba.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the one from Temu. Let's see what John Jones actually
No.
shows up. Whoa, whoa. Thank you very much, brother. Before you leave, do you want to leave a shout out for anybody?
No, I want to give you a shout out. Thank you for having me on. And dude,
Oh,
I need to
wow.
give Panda the biggest shout out. I know you know Panda. You've done an
Whoa.
interview with
Shout
her.
out Panda.
Yeah.
Shout out Panda. I call her the
She
Peruvian Panda.
let's go. She actually was such a huge help for this camp. I kind of tweaked my back.
Wow.
2-3 weeks, actually about 3 weeks out from my fight, and I couldn't even walk. And she went above and beyond to see me multiple times throughout the week to
Wow.
make sure I was moving again. Dude,
Wow.
this last camp was so much more about recovery than actual training.
Mm.
Where I'm fucking healthy now. I was very fortunate to get in and out. She also fucking flew out from Vegas to fucking help me cut weight and corner me too. So I want to give her the biggest shout out right now, because without her, I would have had a fucking nightmare of a time with this fight.
Love and respect to the Peruvian panda. You are highly, highly appreciated.
Oh yeah,
Okay, thank you very much, of course, to the Shameless Don
thank you so
for
much.
this wonderful session. It's been really, really great speaking with you today. And of course, I hope the audience are able to, learn from your journey. I hope they've been entertained as well. And of course, do follow Don, Shameless Don, on all social media platforms. And of course, if you've come this far, do like, comment, share, subscribe, and join the channel. Thank you very much, guys.